Hi, everybody. My name is Kathy Liakos, and I'm going to talk today a little bit about grief and the grieving process that human beings go through when they lose someone they care about in a deep and meaningful way. Grief is something that, as a human being, you can't escape. Um, and everybody grieves in their own way. Um, Privately, sometimes publicly, sometimes, it takes some people a lot longer to talk about the pain that they experience when they lose someone they love. And some people need to talk incessantly about the grief that they have experienced. There's no right or wrong way to feel the deep sense, profound sense of loss when someone we love has died. When there is an unexpected death, um, either through something tragic such as suicide, an, an overdose with drugs, or a homicide, that can bring a particular type of grief, which is called complicated or protracted grief. This is especially hard on children left behind. It's hard on all humans, but especially hard on children. And children grieve in profoundly different ways than adults grieve. They grieve nonetheless, but they grieve differently. It's important for children who have had losses of any kind, especially a parent, a sibling, someone very close to them, that the adults in their lives allow them to express the pain that they're feeling in any way, as long as it's within a safety issues within themselves, in any way that that person is going through it at the time. Children will often act out, with in their play, um, grief, in their artwork, in their writing, because they don't have the emotional language to express the pain that they're feeling. This is difficult for parents or people or caretakers of children who would just like them to kind of talk about how are you feeling? How are you feeling now that mom has died? Children often don't have that. They don't have that ability. They don't have that skill. But it doesn't mean that they don't feel things. There needs to be a space, a safe space for kids to grieve in their own way and in their own time, just like adults. Children are just little adults. If you or someone you love, or if you're a clinician and you have a client that is acting in a way that is related to grief, refer them to a grief group or a grief specialist, somebody who's trained in seeing the signs and symptoms of the grieving process, the stages of grief, and to help these people kind of move through the stages. The stages are not fluid. It's, anger, shock, denial, bargaining, acceptance. Those are not a linear list or stages of things that people go through when they grieve. Universally, almost all human beings feel those feelings, but they don't do it in a chronological way, and children especially don't. So if a child, for instance, is struggling with the loss of a parent, a grandparent, sibling, and they're acting as if, they've been told that, their mom is gone, won't be coming back, going to heaven, it's not unusual for a kid to kind of be like, oh, well, when mom comes home, we'll deal with this. It's the magical thinking or the wishful thinking that the person they love will return. That's not abnormal. And eventually, all human beings have to get to the point where they accept that the person that they love, that they cared about, that was in their life, is gone. And everybody comes to that conclusion in their own time. If you're, with someone, or, friends with someone who just experienced a loss, you can't change it for them. You cannot take their grief away. Just common sense things such as, I'm there for you if there's something that I can do to help in any way. Maybe a mom needs to run errands and needs someone to watch their kids, something concrete like that, because there are no words that that can actually, take away their pain. But feeling with that person, allowing that person to talk in their own time, or not pushing them to talk when they're feeling deeply, deeply sad and mourning the loss of the person that they love, that's also assistance, just being there for them. So, therapists are trained in the mourning process. I was trained by the Good Grief program in Boston, especially focusing on how to handle traumatic or sudden deaths with children. But there are lots and lots of resources out there. So if you need help, or you think someone that you know or someone that you love needs help going through this process, reach out. So, life is short, and every single one of us is going to have to experience pain of losing someone we love, and got to be there for each other. So take care. Okay, thanks. Bye.